Jackson Dart making his first NFL start against the undefeated Chargers as his team looks to finally get a win on the board as they are 0-3 to start the year. They aren't the only team that's 0-3 though, and they, along with the Saints, they have the tall task of taking down undefeated teams. And then how about this? 4 of the winless teams, they face each other. So one team hopefully will come out with a victory. With that, we welcome Emory Hunt and Will Brinson for our NFL news and notes for week 4. And Will, when you look at all the teams, right, that are 0-3, some of them have better matchups than others, which team has the best shot of saving their season?
Well, so I think this is like kind of a loaded question. I'm terrible about giving multiple answers, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think the Giants have the best chance of saving their season because they can go and lose. But if Jackson Dart looks awesome and operates really well in Brian Daboll's offense, and they use the RPO stuff, and they use the read option, and they play with some tempo, and he uses his legs and doesn't fall down like a 45-year-old dad chasing a toddler like Russell Wilson did on Sunday night against the Chiefs trying to run in the red zone, then I think that everyone involved in the Giants can save their season. Brian Daboll and Joe Shane can save their jobs if Jackson Dart looks awesome. I would even posit that if they beat the Chargers on Sunday, and I don't think that's that far out of the realm of possibility, as good as the Chargers are and as good as I think the Chargers are, if they beat the Chargers, then it's almost like impossible that the Giants, even regardless of what happens the rest of the season, would fire their coaching staff. But, I mean, you know, the answer is probably the Texans for a team that can save their season and make the playoffs this year strictly because of their defense.
I will say the New York Jets. I'll stay in New York as well.
Ooh,
I like the Jets. Right. And the reason why is because, one, obviously I picked them to go to the postseason, so I need them to win. Right. But outside of that own personal agenda, the Jets have a very good offensive line. They can run the heck out of the football. I believe they are playing inspired ball behind their head coach. I like how they closed out the game last weekend, albeit in a loss, versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They fought their way back. They didn't quit, and they blocked that field goal, which looked to be the lead in that ball game. And I like the matchup they have this upcoming weekend against the Miami Dolphins. You talk about physicality versus finesse. Well, this is a matchup that you want if you're the New York Jets. Now, I like this matchup. Even if they get Justin Fields back, even better for this football team. They were flirting with the win in week 1. They did stub their toe against the best team in the AFC. Looks like the Buffalo Bills in week 2. I like this matchup here for Miami, so I like the Jets to get off the snide.
Both of y'all going with the Giants and the Jets for different reasons. Now, the Buccaneers, they could see their star wideout Chris Godwin back on the field this Sunday. Godwin took a day off Thursday after practicing fully on Wednesday. He hasn't seen any game action since last season due to an ankle injury. And some other good news, left tackle Tristan Wirfs, he practiced for the first time this season after having knee surgery in the offseason. We're back here with Emory and Will, and so the Bucs are battling the Eagles Sunday. It's the only Week 4 game, Will, between 3-0 teams. What do you think will be the key difference maker in who gets the victory?
For me, it's the first half Eagles offensive game plan, because you really can't run against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, it's been that way since Todd Bowles got there and they got Vita Vea. It is really, really hard to run against Tampa. Philly has shown for 2.5 games that they wanted to be a run the football, play defense, sort of plotting team. And then all of a sudden they get down to the Rams and they decide that they have to start throwing. Well, I think they should take a lesson from that game and come out firing against the Tampa secondary in order to win this football game. Throw to get the lead, run to win, right? I mean, and run to salt away the game, and then maybe Saquon Barkley pops one. I think if they try to go into Tampa as favorites and pound Saquon Barkley early, they're going to end up running up against a brick wall. The offense is going to stagnate, and you're going to let Baker Mayfield, who's getting Tristan Wirfs back, that's massive. If you let him hang around, the Buccaneers are liable to steal something from you late in the fourth quarter.
Right. The Bucs have the best mentality to go up against a team like Philadelphia, but I love where Will went with his pick, because I'm going right there as well. I say Jalen Hurts. You talk about Mr. mentality, that's him. You don't know if they're up 20 or down 20 by how he looks on the sideline. And the way he plays the game, it's just remarkable because he does what's necessary on that giving day first versus that giving opponent to win the ball game. And the Eagles are set up uniquely because they have 2 number 1 receivers. Not many teams can say that. So to Will's point, you have a number 1 in Devonta Smith, you have a number 1 in A.J. Brown, you have a very good tight end in Goddard. You could even use Saquon Barkley as a receiver in this particular matchup and have success. So I think it's going to be about Jalen Hurts and how well he throws the football and how well he gets the ball out to those guys quickly, efficiently, and effectively, and that's how they can win this matchup.
Yeah, you said quickly. Yeah, Eagles fans, they want them to throw that ball early and often because they did not like what they saw in the first half in the week against the Rams. Now, Jordan Addison, he's set to return as his team heads to Dublin against Pittsburgh for 2 overseas games after a 3-game suspension for violating the substance abuse policy. And when you think about this Vikings offense, right, Carson Wentz leading the charge with J.J. McCarthy out, they're getting Jordan Addison along with Justin Jefferson, right? So that's a nice duo. Well, what are your expectations for this Vikings offense?
Well, I think down the road, maybe we can stretch things out a little bit with what Minnesota wants to do on offense. And I think Jordan Addison is going to have those spike games that he's had throughout his career. I mean, he's an exceptional player, a wonderful, sort of complimentary option right next to Justin Jefferson, probably the best receiver in the game. But this week, against a depleted Steelers team that is really banged up, rolling out a Brian Flores defense that intercepted Aaron Rodgers 3 times the last time they saw each other, and that has been phenomenal, really, since Flores got there. It's been fantastic all year. I actually think we're going to see a lot more Jordan Mason and a lot less Jordan Addison and a lot less Justin Jefferson. And I think Kevin O'Connell would like it that way. Take as much as you can off of Carson Wentz's plate. Let the running game work. Jordan Mason looked great last week, and I think you're going to be able to do sort of the Steelers defense isn't that great. I think you kind of name your number. I think they're going to lean into that run game, but if Addison, and maybe ease Addison in a little bit more than expected in week 1 for him.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be the same game plan as last week. Just get the ball out quicker because they do have guys on the edge that can rush the passer in Pittsburgh. Otherwise, Wentz is going to be eating a lot of sacks like Tea and Crumpets out there in London. So he has to get rid of the football quickly, and it doesn't make that big of a difference if Addison is back because Will touched on it. The run game is where they've had success, and I like how the Patriots ran the football against the Steelers. They just kept fumbling the football. I don't expect Mason to do that. It makes the job easier for Carson Wentz, but I want to see him get rid of the football quicker against this Steelers defense because they apply pressure better, in my opinion, than what we saw the Cincinnati Bengals do last week.
Yeah, Cincinnati,
They tried, man. They tried. The helmets are dope, you know.
Hey, man, it's really sad when you got to talk about their helmets being dope and not the product on the football field. Will Brinson, Emory Hunt, always great products for us right here on CBS Sports HQ.